Anne Widdecombe joins us. She is a former Conservative Home Office Minister and now Reform UK supporter. And your reaction to the defection of Robert Jenrick to Reform yesterday?
Well, I'm delighted. People are always saying, and I've heard you yourself say, that, we may have great ideas, but where's the experience in government? How are we going to manage to form a cabinet and all the rest of it? And therefore, it is essential that we attract people into our party who have that experience, who can give it. And without the slightest shadow of doubt, Robert Jenrick is a big beast, and I think he is a good catch.
What does it tell us about the current Conservative Party that the former Justice Secretary, Sir Robert Buckland, has accused Robert Jenrick of borderline racism for his recent remarks about a trip to the Midlands and not seeing a white face on his visit there?
Well, I think it tells you that the Conservative Party still doesn't understand how worried the British people are. And there is nothing borderline racist about observing and commenting on what you observe. A lot, of course, depends on the context. But I don't think that was borderline racism. But quite inevitably, whenever anybody comes to reform, somebody somewhere tries to find something they've said that might indicate that they are very possibly bordering on racism. It is a nonsense.
Does it surprise you that Mark Francois, who is a true Conservative, has offered such a robust defence of the party's stint in office?
No, I think that's what he's got to do. He is, after all, a spokesman. And I would be very surprised if he sat down in front of you and said, yes, it was all a pretty fine mess. But yes, it was all a pretty fine mess. Wokery got the upper hand. The transgender nonsense got the upper hand. Yeah. True conservatism just wasn't there. It wasn't even on their agenda.
Do you think Mark Francois privately agrees with you, Anne?
Well, I've never had a conversation with him that would indicate that he does. Let me make that very clear. But yes, I reckon, he mentioned David Amess. David Amess used to absolutely despair of what the Conservatives were doing and where they were going. And he yearned for the glory days. He yearned for the Thatcher years. And I wouldn't be at all surprised if, privately, Mark Francois has some of the same reservations. But he's doing his duties. He's not going to say that.
However, do you think under the robust leadership of Kemi Badenoch that the Conservatives can gravitate back towards the political right?
Well, I laugh when I hear about robust leadership. As I say, she plays catch-up with Reform the whole time. That's not what I call leadership. Her performance at the dispatch box has undeniably improved, but the fact is that William Hague used to beat Tony Blair week after week at Prime Minister's questions, had no resonance with the greater public. All they're concerned about is what they can see, how far their money will stretch, if their jobs are secure, if their children's education is reliable, if they can get treatment when they go to the NHS. That is what they're concerned about. They're not concerned about Westminster Village. And frankly, yes, I think Kemi has improved, but it was from a very, very low base.
Stay with us, Anne. Stuart is in Somerset. Stuart, you're on Talk, and you have the ear of Anne Widdecombe, former Government Home Office Minister. What do you make of this political drama, Stuart?
Well, as I said to your colleague a few moments ago, I am 60 years old. I have been a lifelong Conservative. I believe in Conservative principles, Conservative values. And as a matter of fact, I genuinely like Mark Francois. I think he's a very genuine Conservative. But he is outnumbered. And he can sit on your show and sugarcoat the past record and what they should have done and what they could have done. But he is very much a fish out of water. He would be a wonderful, wonderful Reform MP. Yeah. Clearly, he's made it quite clear he's got no intention of leaving the Conservative Party. I would say, as a lifelong Conservative, there is no chance whatsoever of me ever voting Conservative because they're not a Conservative Party. They're a bunch of neoliberal wets, and that is not acceptable.
Stuart, thank you for a brilliant call. And your reaction?
My reaction to that is Stuart has said it all wonderfully in a nutshell. They're a bunch of neoliberal wets, and that is quite true. That is what we have, and that is why when people say to me, but the Tories and Reform should get together, I say, hang on, just look at the Tory party. It's stuffed full and woke and remain and all the rest of it. And, that would just drag us down. We are speaking for the people of Britain, and as long as we do that, I think we will win the next election.
Malcolm is in Oxford. Malcolm, you are live with Anne Widdecombe.
Good morning, Mark. Good morning, Anne.
Hello, Malcolm.
Good morning.
Fantastic MP, a fantastic Reform member as well. Mark Francois, I've got a great regard for that man. However, this morning, he seems to have forgot that 14 years, Black Party let us down. And they had their biggest defeat at the last general election. There's a reason for that. Mark, yourself, you keep saying the rights are fighting like dogs in a sack. They're not fighting like dogs in a sack at all. You've got two different parties. You've got the Reform Party, which is on the right, and you've got the Tory Party, which is slightly left of centre.
Yeah.
Keir Starmer coming on to she should have sacked him earlier. What's he going to do about Keir's wet streeting? Wet streeting is manoeuvring to become the Prime Minister. What's going on? Don't gaslight the British public. And Reform with Nigel, Jenrick, they are not gaslighting us. They are telling us as it is. We're not stupid.
Malcolm, thank you for a brilliant call. I'll let you get the dogs out for a walk. They sound a little testy. Anne Widdecombe, how much trouble do you think are the Tories in?
Oh, I think they're in deep, deep trouble. That was not the last defection that we'll see. I don't even think it's the last high-profile defection that we'll see. They're in deep trouble because they haven't got a coherent Tory philosophy, as Thatcher had, as Mark Francois has. They haven't got that. They bow to the wind. And that is why, for example, they've changed their position on ECHR. Oh, well, Reform is saying it's possible and the public like it, so we'll go along with that. After 14 years of saying it was impossible. So I don't think that the public are going to be won round anytime soon. I do think that the Labour Party is in dire trouble, real trouble. But having said that, the normal reaction to that in the past would have been, okay, we'll get the Tories. But not now, because after 14 years, nobody wants the Tories.
Jenny has messaged the show saying that actually what Kemi said about Jenrick's behaviour doesn't quite add up, and that she's not convinced by the Leader of the Opposition story in relation to how much she did or didn't know. And this from Brad in Cambridge, Anne. Good morning, Mark. I'm an ex-member of the Conservative Party, now a member of Reform. I like Robert Jenrick, and I'm sure he'll be good for Reform, but like Mark Francois, I was disappointed with the way he disrespected his former colleagues yesterday. It did him no credit at all. Do you think that Brad is right there, Anne, that Robert Jenrick went too far in singling out the likes of Mel Stride and Priti Patel in a very personal way?
Well, I think his what he got wrong was to actually name them as such. He could have said, you've got a Chancellor who believes this and a Foreign Secretary who believes that. He could have said any of those things. I personally wouldn't have done it that way, but on the other hand, he is very blunt and straight talking, and that was what he decided to do.
And briefly, if you can, the Daily Mail, I think that they're actually a little off kilter with their front page headline. Stop fighting each other and end the Labour nightmare. It seems they're attached to this narrative that somehow the Tories and Reform UK cancel each other out and gift power to Labour. I'm not sure that's true anymore.
Well, of course it's not. If you actually look at what polls are doing, we are consistently ahead, and not just by a whisker. We're ahead by a very long way, and it is consistent. I mean, that is the crucial thing. It's not up and down. And the Tories are not trusted by the public, and quite rightly. And as I said earlier, my main objection to trying to get together with the Tories is that they've still got this enormous, what one of your callers described as neoliberal wet rump, and they have what they've got. And so long as they've got that, I don't want Reform anywhere near them.
Anne, you don't have a neoliberal bone in your body. It's always a thrill to have you on the show. We're very old friends. I'm a great fan of yours, and I'm really pleased to see you in such rude health again, because I know you had a little bit of an untoward moment there, a little accident, but I'm glad that you're fighting fit, and we'll have many on-air adventures throughout 2026. Have a great day, Anne, and we'll catch up soon. Anne Widdecombe, former Conservative Home Office Minister, now, of course, Reform UK supporter. This is a voice